Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and podcast, helping other people evolve. Today I have Will with me. Hi, Will. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Great. I'm excited because for many of you that have been following me for a while, this is my first um, the person with me Zoom in a long time because I've moved to Texas and, well, I just don't let anybody come in my house. We're just going to say that part.
Yeah.
So I met Will. I always tell y'all how I meet people, and I met Will at the diner that I work at. He'd come in and have breakfast, and then, of course, you know me, I like to have conversations. So we kind of started talking a little bit about life and things like that. And I told him about my podcast, and he shared a little of his struggles that he's went through with me, and I asked him if he'd be on my podcast, and I'm blessed that he said yes.
I am here.
I'm excited. So for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, what my mission and vision with Hope is just to help people know that they don't struggle alone. You know, we live in a world that people are going through all kinds of things, and I just want to remind them that you're not alone in your struggles. Other people go through struggles, and we learn to get through those struggles. So today we're going to share Will's story, which I'm excited to hear because I don't really know anything about it. So where did you grow up, Will?
So I grew up in Sacramento, California, raised primarily by my mom from birth until 5. My dad was always in my life, but I stayed with my mom until around 5 years old. She moved to Los Angeles to be in the entertainment industry, and I stayed with my dad back in Sacramento from the first to the fifth grade.
Okay.
And then around the sixth grade, seventh, eighth, I stayed with my mom again, moved to Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then ninth and 10th, I moved back to Sacramento with my dad. And then my mom moved back to Sac, and I lived with her from the 11th to the 12th.
Okay, and then your dad was still there in Sacramento then?
Yeah, my dad always stayed in Sacramento. My mom did not like being in Sacramento.
So 11th, 12th grade, and then your dad was still in the Sacramento area?
Yes, he was still in the sack. But there were reasons why I moved back with my mom and then moved back with my dad in between. So
That's where we're gonna go. We're gonna go with
yeah,
all that because I feel like when you're moving like that, you didn't just be like, okay, now I'm gonna go live with mom. Okay, now I'm gonna go live with dad again.
no,
No. So go
no.
ahead and let's fill in the details a little bit.
So I mean, so from the first to the fifth, well, really from the first to the third grade, it was just me and my dad.
Hmm.
Now, during the summer, in between the first and the third grade, my dad had a girlfriend
Okay.
who was a model out of New York, and she would come back and forth to SAC during the summertime. But after the summer, she would leave.
Okay.
So for the most part, it was just me and my dad. But our family was there. So aunties, uncles, cousins, all that stuff. I'm my only child, but I have a cousin who's a week older than me.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was like my brother.
Hmm.
I also have an auntie who was 5 years older than me.
Okay.
So that was like my sister.
Right, right.
So, and then the other cousins, but those two were like my brother and sister. So anyway, one summer, the girlfriend didn't leave for the summer.
Okay.
She was just there.
Okay.
Now I'm third grade, not knowing what's going on. I just know that she's still there.
Hmm.
Um, she did not like me.
Oh,
And I don't think that she didn't like me per se. It was just she didn't have any kids of her own, and I was just in the way of things that she may have wanted to do with my dad spontaneously. Can't just up and go because he has
a son.
a son.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think she hated the inconvenience
Mm.
of me. And she wasn't physically abusive. She was more emotionally abusive and would say little things and give me these looks. And it was crazy. So as I got older, like I said, I lived there. Ironically, her name was the same as my mom's name.
Oh,
My mom's name is Robin, and her name is Robin. So I think in around the fifth grade, I'm starting to get a little older, but I'm still a kid. But
sure.
I'm starting to feel myself a little bit. And when she's saying little things and doing certain little things, we're getting into it, like
Hmm.
arguments. And so one day, my mom I was on restriction. I was grounded, and I wasn't supposed to be on the phone. And these were cordless phones back in the
Right.
day, you know. So, but I had the phone in my room for some reason, and I was supposed to be doing something, and I wanted to talk to my mom.
Right.
So I called my mom, but when you press the button, the base of it lights
Oh,
up.
yeah.
You remember
Oh,
those?
yeah.
Okay, so she's on the phone. My mom didn't know I was grounded. She didn't know what was going on. My mom was in Los Angeles at this
Okay.
time. And so I'm calling my mom, talking to her for a second. She's like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine." "No, I birthed you in the world, Willie. I know something's going on. What's wrong?" "No, no, I'm fine. I'm fine." And then I hear my stepmother, and she's like, "Are you on the phone?" She's saying something in the background.
Right.
So I'm now getting afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, "I gotta go. I gotta go. Don't call back. Don't call back." And I hang up the phone on
Okay.
my mom.
Okay. Well, that's not going over very well, I'm
So
sure.
she calls back. No answer. She calls back, but so at this point, my stepmom came in and grabbed the phone. So she calls back. I think my stepmother answered the phone. My mom said, "Hey, what's going on over there?" Stepmom hangs up the phone
Mm.
on my mom.
Oh,
Fast forward, next day, I'm at school, lunchtime, recess. I'm playing kickball. It's my turn to go up. I kick the ball, best kick I've made in years. Goes all the way to the bleachers. As soon as the ball hits the ground, it lands by this lady, and it's my mom.
oh.
She had took a red-eye flight from LA,
Mm.
made her way. Now, this was back in the day where people could actually just come on the campus.
Right, right, of
You know what I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
So she's standing there because she couldn't find me at this point.
Mm.
And so once she came from the bleachers, grabbed me, and she was pissed. She was pissed.
I bet.
Oh, she was pissed. So anyway, she goes in the office, takes me with her, and is like, "I'm taking my son, yada yada yada." And they're like, "Man, we can't just, let you take, we have to call this, but I don't care what you got to do. I'm taking my son and this and that or whatever." So anyway, she takes me. My dad ends up, because he was working at a sawmill out in this place called Omo Ranch or whatever. It was like an hour away in Sacramento. So when he finally gets in, um, we meet up at a McDonald's. I remember meeting up at McDonald's with my mom and my dad, and they're going back and forth. And she was going to take me immediately
Mhm.
back to Los Angeles. And I guess they worked out something to where, okay, summertime when he comes out, because I forgot to say, every Christmas or Thanksgiving and summer,
Mhm.
I would go to
Oh,
Los
see,
Angeles
okay. Be with your
from the
mom.
first grade all the way up to where we were at this point. So this coming summer, they had worked out to where this coming summer, I'm not coming back to SAC. I'm
Okay.
just going to go out there and I'll start sixth grade out there.
Now let me ask you a question real quick. Let's stop. Now, does your dad know that this other Robin, his girlfriend, was like mentally abusive to you, or did she do it behind
It
more?
was mainly behind
Hmm.
his back.
Hmm.
There wasn't a lot of stuff that it would be like they would like my dad was sitting there right now and he'd get up and go, just walk in the room
Right.
somewhere. And then as soon as he, have his back turned, she would just look at me
Mm.
like one of those. And it'd just
Hmm.
be like I was really afraid of
Yeah.
her. I
Yeah.
was really afraid of her because all the other women in my life never showed me that type of energy.
Right.
Um, but now there were a lot of my dad's sisters did not like her.
Okay.
And one in particular, my cousin who was was a week older than me, his mother, she was about that life. And I
Hmm.
remember her coming over to the house and she was going to beat her down
Okay.
for whatever other reason. I
Right.
don't think it had anything to do with me.
It was
It was
just,
just other things that were
yeah.
going on, and she had just had it. And I remember the back and forth, and my dad having to hold her back, and
Hmm.
it was crazy. I don't have I didn't come from a family where there was a lot of or really any that I was aware of, like domestic violence. There was no, in and out of jail family members
Mhm.
and police activity and stuff like that. I mean, all of my aunties and uncles were married for years. They all
Mhm.
pretty much at this point, they're passed away now, but they're 30 and 40-year relationships until they
Right,
died,
right.
marriages until they died.
Mhm.
So I come from families that I had all both sets of my grandparents. They were married. Well, my mom's mom was not, but her dad was married.
Yeah.
That's where my auntie comes from,
Okay.
who's 5 years older than me.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where she comes from. So anyway,
So now it's the summer, you're going to your mom's, but you're not coming back to
I'm
Sacramento.
not coming back. So now I'm adjusting to living in the Los Angeles, Southern California life.
Okay.
I wasn't completely I mean, I'd been going back and
Right.
forth since I was in the first grade, but now I live there. So I
Mhm.
never had to go to school there. Up until
Mhm.
that point, I was going to the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
Actually, at that time, it was just the Boys Club.
Okay.
They hadn't integrated at that time.
Okay.
So, I had a lot of, interaction. I'd made some friends here and there. But when I started living there, now I think I'm learning the area, the gang stuff
Okay.
is starting to be introduced
Okay.
on a very, small level. I mean, in
Mhm.
sixth grade,
Right.
but at the same time, these sixth graders have brothers
Mhm.
who are ninth, 10th, 11th grade that
Mhm.
are really in it. You're talking 85, 86,
Mhm.
um,
So
87.
85, 86, 87, we're talking crack epidemic time too.
Probably, but at the same time, that hadn't been introduced
Okay.
for me yet.
Okay.
That was a little bit further. We could actually fast forward to that
Well,
if you can.
no, we can continue
Okay.
how we get to that point.
Okay. So so we I started getting into a little bit of trouble. I think at this point I something was going on chemically to where I was just starting to rebel. Like I said, my mom was in the entertainment business. She worked for different companies that were either in media or a couple of big name people that were either in the music industry or actors. Um, I don't want to say their names because I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah,
who,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, we're
So, but being around that was great.
right.
That was great. She was a personal assistant for a couple of them,
Okay.
and while I was there, in the summer or whatever, or when school was out, she couldn't just leave me. This is before she found out about the boys club, but she would have to take me with her to work. And
Hmm.
so I would just be in these people's office, like their office. And it's bigger than most people's apartments.
Right, right.
And it had everything in it. And I'm in 1984, 85. I mean, I had my own VCR. It
Right.
wasn't mine, but we're talking about, I mean, whatever the biggest size TV was there,
Yeah.
refrigerator, a bar. I didn't drink. It's just, you're looking at all this stuff that you had never really seen before, and I have access to it. I remember even one guy was a big record executive, and people would send in their demo
Oh, yeah.
tapes. And so there was a box that was next to, some it's kind of like under his desk, and it's
Mhm.
full of all of these CD or tapes at this
Tapes.
point.
Yeah.
And I would just listen to them. And I remember hearing a lot of people that ended up coming out later. I heard their actual demos.
Demos. Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I would play them. And I couldn't, my mom said, don't you take these tapes. You leave them alone. Don't take anything out of here. Don't
Right.
eat anything. You just stay put and watch TV. Shut up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. But that'd be a cool experience though,
oh, it
for sure.
was.
For
It
sure.
was. It was. It was crazy because I actually remember that stuff. So I had a lot of, stories that I could go back and tell my friends when I went
Hmm.
home or whatever. But I started getting into her schedule had changed, and so I was pretty much a latchkey kid.
Okay.
So I'd get out of school, I'd come home. As long as the kitchen was fine, my homework was done. When she comes home, it better be like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was the only thing. But I was doing a lot of stuff I shouldn't have been doing before she got home. I knew what time she got home, and I knew where I needed to be by the time she got home.
Okay.
So I was into like graffiti and stuff like that. But fast forward maybe through the seventh grade, when she got the phone call from the West Los Angeles Police Department.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, this was actually my first interaction with a crooked cop.
Okay.
Me and my buddy were out. Now we did have a paint, we had a backpack full of,
Paint.
yeah, spray cans.
Uh-huh.
Well, he had the backpack. And we were intentionally going out to do graffiti,
Mm-hmm.
but we hadn't started yet.
Okay.
Okay. We had only been out maybe 5 minutes. And so I guess there were cops that were patrolling the area or whatever. Now, mind you, we're in maybe the eighth grade,
Okay.
seventh grade.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the seventh grade maybe it was the middle of the eighth, something like that. But we're kids, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Sure. You're like 14, 15-year-old kids.
Yeah, I mean, 13.
13.
13. I was
Okay.
13 and Jerry was 12. So anyway, cops pull us over. Well, not pull us over, we're walking. They're just
Right.
like, hey, stop right there. So he grabs us, put us on the curb or whatever, and he's like, "What are you guys out here doing?" "Oh, nothing." We said whatever bullshit we had to say, and
Right.
he opens the bag. And he's like, "Oh, okay, you're out in here, messing around, huh?" Like, okay. So he grabs my homeboy, picks him up, and takes him into the alley. And he takes a spray can. There's already graffiti in the alley. He sprays over something that's already there, and then he takes my buddy's finger and puts it on the paint. So now he's got paint on his finger, and he says, looks like you have evidence of doing graffiti." Takes us both to jail.
Oh,
Takes us both to jail because of that.
wow.
And that was my first. I didn't understand it at that time, but going through, I'm like,
Sure.
damn, that was my first interaction with it. That was, I mean, I get what he was, but that's not cool.
Right.
That's not cool.
Right.
So anyway, when she got the call from the West LA police, that was like, oh no, I'm not going to have you out here because that's going to turn into something else, gang violence, whatever. So she sent me back with my dad.
Okay.
Now, at this point, the whole reason why I left to go back with my mother in the first place, like I said, was not being able to deal with this toxic environment.
Right. Right.
But now I've got sixth, seventh, and eighth grade of me getting older, a little bit taller. I can, not necessarily physically deal with her, but more emotionally, I know where she's coming from, and I should be able to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-mm.
it was
It
worse.
was worse.
It was worse because now yeah, I don't know why, but it was worse.
Mm-hmm.
So now ninth and 10th grade, I'm there, still dealing with the same stuff, but my grades in high school are being affected.
Sure.
Um, and so,
I'm going to stop real quick,
yeah.
just to talk about that a little bit, because people that fortunately have never been through that mental abuse from someone do not realize how much that can really bring you down
Mm,
into somebody that you thought you were, and now you no longer think that you are anymore, if that makes any sense.
it does.
Like, I get it because I've been in a physically and emotionally abusive relationship where my self-esteem was knocked down.
Mhm.
Even growing up with my stepfather, I love you, but growing up with him, it was just like, you're worthless. You just all those things. And you made a comment about all my affirmations in my house, and I need those
Mhm.
because of all the years of hearing that.
Mhm.
And people don't realize that how lucky they are if they've never heard that or had anybody treat them like that, because it's a lot to get out of that.
Mhm.
And a lot of times what you do is your grades were affected. You started probably hanging around the wrong people, and the people that for me, it was people that accepted me easily.
Well, for me, actually, I wasn't hanging around the wrong people.
Oh, that's good.
In a way, it's not
Oh,
because of the fact that it was kind of disguised.
okay.
It
Yeah.
was disguised. I didn't know they were bad people, and they weren't bad people. It's just you trust that even if you're in a bad situation, because they are not quote unquote bad people, that it's not going to come out to a bad
Mm,
situation, I guess.
okay,
Um, and this is kind of where the drugs came in.
okay.
This is where the hard drugs. Um, m- Marijuana was not ever even advertised as something bad.
Mhm.
It
Right.
it was always, hey, this is from the earth, this is natural, all of that other kind of stuff. And really at that time, when you're starting off, it really is entertainment.
Hmm.
You giggle, you laugh, you get hungry,
Hungry.
you know, I mean, and everything is funny. You're
Mhm.
spending time with your friends and like it's all good. So there was this one time, and this one time in band camp. No, it was so me and man, because this is on the internet. So,
You don't have to say any names.
okay.
Yeah,
So me and someone that I really trust
okay.
and their friend. Now we had done this before to where I was just riding with them and we would all just smoke weed.
Right.
Um, so it was not anything different.
Now, are you still in high school right now?
I am. I'm
Okay,
about 16,
okay.
about 16, 10th grade. So one time, uh, I was with them, and normally it was a puff puff pass type of situation. So at some point, it was just a pass pass between them two. And I would say, "Hey, what's going on? Why?" Because I'm in the back seat of the
Right.
car, and I'm like, "Hey, man, y'all messing up the rotation. What's going on? Yeah, you don't need to fool with this."
Mm.
I didn't know why. I'm asking, like, what's the problem? Like, just shut up. Don't worry about it. Just deal with it. So anyway, they did not pass this to me. So fast forward a couple of, months or whatever. This person used to let me use their car, but they would kind of bribe me by saying, I'll let you use my car. Now, I didn't have a license or anything like that. But they would bribe me and say, hey, if I let you use my car, you got to put gas in it and you got to wash it. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
I'll do that because I
Right.
get to drive a car. You know what I mean?
Right,
I
right.
don't have one and I get to peruse through the city. Okay, fine. So they came and picked me up. I don't know. I think I was part of their alibi for something because there was no reason for them to go out of their way to come pick me up from school during lunchtime, then drop them off where they needed to go, and then let me have their car unless they just needed some gas.
Mhm.
Who knows? But anyway, in the process of me having their car, I took it to the car wash, washed the car, and I'm very eager,
Sure.
because I get to drive a clean car.
Right.
So while I'm washing the car and vacuuming, I go under the seat and I see a joint. Not a full joint, it was half smoked, like something, in the confusion, you dropped it in between the
Hmm.
seat and now it's under the seat. So now I'm juiced because not only do I have a car, there's gas in it, I'm out of school, and there's a joint.
Oh,
Oh
man.
man, oh my God. So anyway, after I was done, I just kind of sat in the wash bay because it was one of those ones where you wash it yourself.
Sure.
And I just sat in there and lit it up. And that was the beginning of my
Mm.
problems right there. It was what's called a primo,
Okay.
which is weed and crack
Okay.
crushed down and sprinkled
Mm.
over the weed. Now, I didn't know what it was, but I knew that it did not taste like just weed,
Right.
but I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
And after you do your first couple of hits for, I think, any drug, because that's the only one that I've ever done before was weed and that, um, you spend the rest of your time chasing those
Chasing it,
first
chasing
two.
that. Yep.
It's
Yep.
never You're never gonna get it.
Mm-mm.
You're never
No.
gonna get it, but you're trying to. It's kind of like a slot machine. You
Yep.
win a little bit, and then now you spend the rest of your life trying to get another $1,500.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? So that right there, like I said, that was the beginning. And I think I was in denial. I dealt with my drug addiction for 13 years, off and on, off and on, because there was a 3.5 year period where I didn't do it. Um, but before I got to that point, I was in a denial because even though it was crack cocaine,
Mhm.
I had family members that also did it, but they would tell me that I was wasting it because they were putting it in a pipe
Right.
and I was putting it in a blunt.
Oh, so you were the whole time you're smoking it and we.
Only like that.
Oh, okay.
Only like
Let
that.
me ask you, so after you smoked that with your friend's car, did you ask them afterwards what that was, or how did you find that out, what it was?
Um, I did
Yeah,
because I wanted some more.
more. Yeah.
I wanted some more. I don't think I told them immediately,
Uh-huh.
but at some point I think I did because
Mhm.
now that person didn't have to hide what they
They
were
were doing.
doing.
Now they're sharing it with you.
Now, well, yeah, and now
Yeah.
we're putting in on it and
Hmm.
going into these areas that are like, oh my God. And what made it even worse is that a lot of these people that we were getting it from, um, like I didn't know them, but I knew of them. Like they were I think at that point this was in between the 10th and the 11th grade. Um, but like maybe their brother went to my school
Hmm.
but their old, their brother, who was 2 or 3 years older than them,
Hmm.
were like legends at the school that I had
Okay.
went to,
Yeah.
X this, X that. And now they are like, you would know them through someone who knew somebody who you were
Hmm.
close to. Sacramento was a big, small city.
Okay.
So everybody knew somebody who knew
Hmm.
somebody, which was in itself was embarrassing.
Hmm.
So that I was in denial for a long time that I even had a crack addiction.
Hmm. Because you were smoking it with weed, so it
Right.
wasn't
It,
the
it,
normal
it
crack.
wasn't the normal.
Right. Because I don't
I was
know.
a bougie crack
Yeah,
smoker.
exactly. That's what you were. Because
Yeah.
my ex was actually a crack addict. So I watched that pipe many times and I've tried it myself and I know exactly that high that you're talking about. I share this a lot on my podcast because there was a time when I asked my ex, like, what makes you so crazy? Because when he was coming home and his fingers are twisting, his jaw's going, and he's selling everything we own, I'm like, what could possibly make you feel that? Well, I tried it with him, which wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done. And I remember one time he was at work, and here I go into the areas that you're not supposed to go. I was driving down the road, ready to go get it, and I swear I heard an audible voice say, turn this car around right now or you're never coming back from this.
Mm.
And when I heard that voice, I stopped my car. I immediately turned around and went back to my apartment. And I knew then that I would be addicted to it and I would end up because I mean, I liked it so much. I was about to go drive where I shouldn't be
Right.
to get it. And so, but we smoked out of a pipe. I never did it like what you're saying, your bougie way. So,
Well,
yeah.
so I did go a little bit further because I never did it in the pipe, but at the same time, since it was blunts,
Hmm.
um, normally you're taking all the tobacco out
Right.
and you're lacing it with the weed and then with the crack.
Okay.
But as you get further and further into your addiction, your money gets funny.
Hmm.
I couldn't afford weed and crack,
Right.
so I had to make a decision. And I liked the crack more than I liked the weed.
Correct.
So what I was doing was instead of taking all of the
Tobacco.
tobacco out,
Oh,
I'd take out a third of it.
okay.
And so it would be tobacco and crack,
Okay.
no weed, because
Okay.
really that high was too intense for me.
Okay.
I just wanted to be able to relax, which is an oxymoron when it comes to crack cocaine anyway, because I was messing up my blinds and
Sure.
hiding behind stuff. And it was crazy when you think about it,
Yeah.
when you're in a position to where you can see yourself
Sure.
from an aerial view, all the sweating and just all you're messing up everything.
Yes.
You're messing up everything. The trust, the relationships, my marriage, um, my jobs, like everything. There was this, like I said, it was 13 years from beginning to end. I
Okay.
was in and out of rehabs. My dad did what he could to try to help me. My mom, um, family members or whatever. But I remember one time where I was engaged to my first wife, and I said, God, if I don't have the willpower to do it on my own, then take the ability away from me to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only God that did this. It had to be because it happened the way things happened. It was like, how, what? So check this out. So after I said, I don't know how long after I said that, since I was bougie and I didn't, I didn't want people to know what I was really doing.
Right.
So I only had 3 or 4 people that I would deal with.
Okay.
I knew where I could go if they weren't available, but I didn't know these people. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what they're on. They could be selling you some sheetrock or some, who knows,
Right. Right.
bop you upside the head, take your money, whatever. So I remember calling this one guy and I said, hey, you know what's going on? All right, meet me in such and such. Actually, I would go to his house because I didn't look like, I, what do they call it? A functioning. I was a
Okay. Yep. I
functioning
get
drug
it.
addict.
Yep.
So I still had a job, I still had a car, I still looked nice, all that kind of stuff. So he didn't mind me coming there.
Right.
So I went over there after he told me to come, knocked on the door. He's not answering the phone. He's not answering the door, not answering the phone either. But when I went there, I didn't notice the fact that normally you can't just knock on his door. There's a security gate.
Okay.
He's living in an apartment, but he was the only one that had a security gate
Okay.
to get through the door. But I noticed that the security gate was gone. So in between the time that I talked to him, because maybe it was the next day, it could have been the next day. It wasn't like immediately. It was like, I'll meet you there whenever. But in between then, when I went there, that security gate was gone. Come to find out, the police raided his
Oh,
house
geez.
and they ripped his gate off.
Oh,
So he's out.
right.
So then there was another guy that I would deal with that lived in another part of town, but he was going to meet me at another place where it was kind of like someone else who did dope, but he allowed a couple of other people to do their dope there too.
Okay.
So it wasn't a crack house. He wasn't dealing anything out of there, but it would be myself, him, and maybe one other person. And then we would all be waiting for the person who was coming with the dope.
Okay.
So I knew this guy. He was coming there, right? So he came there. I got what I needed. Everybody else got what they needed. Now, normally when I got my stuff, I would prepare it there and I would do it there.
Right.
Something was a little off in my spirit, like something wasn't right. And I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. So I leave. I rolled it up, but then I got in my car and I just kind of drove around. It was a rainy day or whatever. And I kind of just drove around Midtown area. Now, after you're done, you get that Jones, you want some more.
Right.
So I call the guy, not the house where I was at, but the actual dealer.
Uh-huh.
I call him. He's not answering. Call him back to back. He's not answering. So I'm Jones and I'm Jones.
Right.
I go back to the house. The guy whose house it was, he's not answering. So this goes on for about maybe 3, 4 hours. By this point, my Jones goes down and I go about my rest of my day. But I'm calling the guy whose house it was. I called him for a week straight. He did not answer the phone. One day, I think it might have been maybe 2, 3 weeks later, I called him just out the blue, the guy whose house it was, or apartment it was. And he finally answered the phone and he says, man, Do you know not 20 minutes after you left, my house gets raided?
Mm.
So his house got raided, but they raided his house not too long after the guy who was there, the dealer, he left because he would walk to the train station. So they got him at the train station, but they had been watching the house. You know how many times I've been back and forth to that house?
Mhm.
So he's out.
Right.
Where I was going to do it, he was out. The guy who I was doing it with, the dealer, he's out. The first guy was out. And then there was one other, and I can't remember what happened to him, but he was not available anymore. And I was like, well,
I guess God showed you, didn't
I
he?
guess that's it. I guess that's it. And I was clean for 3.5 years.
Wow.
During that time, that's when me and my first wife, were able to save up for our wedding. And, you know, uh, everything was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine. But that's where that is also a trick. It's every day you have to make sure that you are on the right
Mm-hmm.
mental path, because it 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 will come disguised as something else.
Mm-hmm.
And my play sister had gotten married to the weed man. All right.
Oh, okay.
And the weed was never a problem for me. I still smoked weed, but I didn't think it was a problem
Of
for me.
course you didn't.
Now, since of course, right.
Of course you didn't.
Now she got married to the weed guy, but they lived maybe a block and a half away. All right. So I would get weed from this guy.
So during this 3.5 years of no crack, you were still smoking weed? Or no? Not
Yes.
really. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but not as much.
Okay.
Because our budget was so tight for
Mhm.
putting together, trying to get the money together for the wedding and, all that stuff. A certain amount had to come out of my check, something out of her check, so
Mhm.
that we could put it all together. So if I did, we were on a strict budget,
Yeah.
but I still smoked every
Okay.
now and then. It just wasn't, like
Right.
that. So anyway, when I find out that my play sister and her husband live a block and a half away. I'm like, oh man, the weed guy's real close now.
Mhm.
So I'm dealing with this guy maybe 2, 3 months. Sometimes my play sister's there, sometimes she's not. One day I go over there and I find out that he's more than just the weed man.
Mm.
He's the dope man
Mhm.
too. And so what he would do is, when you said you were coming, he would let you pick what you wanted. He had 2 or 3 bags of weed, and you pick which one you want. So this day I came over there, there's 2 or 3 bags of weed, but there's also somebody else who's coming behind me. So he also had some dope sitting up there
Mm.
too. And I didn't know, but it was like a plant
Sure.
in my head.
Sure.
So a couple more times goes by, and then on the third time, I'm like, hey, I know someone who's been looking for the other stuff. They, I know you don't know them, and I'm not going to just bring them here, but they wanted me to get something from you. Okay. So I get my weed and I get my dope and I tell them, hey, you might have a good customer or something like that.
You're the customer.
I'm the customer.
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm the
Yeah.
customer.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to lose the respect,
course.
because it was weird how some people, depending on the drug that you were doing, there's a certain level, like, oh, weed's okay. Meth, oh no, they're looking down at you. At least maybe my mind was telling me that.
Mhm.
I don't know. But I did not want him to know.
So is this meth then?
No, this
Oh,
was crack.
crack.
Yeah,
Okay.
I never
Okay.
fooled with that.
Okay.
But just, pills, whatever it is, I only
Right.
felt comfortable with weed.
Right.
I felt like I could do that around anybody. Yeah. So anyway, I think that my thought process with knowing that he had it, I had been clean for 3.5 years. And so I had tricked myself into believing, hey, it's almost like a cheat day when you're on a diet.
Right.
Thinking, well, you know what? I'm not going to drain my bank account this time. I'm not going to pawn anything this time. I'm strong now. I'm
And now you're doing it for 3.5 years?
Yeah,
Just once in a while.
just
I'll be
once in
all
a
right.
while.
Yeah, no, doesn't work like that,
Doesn't
does
work
it,
that
Will?
way. Doesn't
Not
work.
at all.
It doesn't. And that is what um, the fact that he was only a block and a half away,
Mm.
I could time it. I knew how long it would take from once my wife got in the shower, how long it would take for her to be in the shower, get out, get dressed, and then come out of the room. And I timed it to where as soon as I heard the water come on, if I was in the garage, I could hear the water heater turn on. And it's like the equalizer. And I'm backing out the car, going over there. By the time I got back in and the garage door closed, that's when I could hear the shower shut off.
Wow.
I had it. I mean, it was crazy the
Yeah.
way that the mind of a drug addict
Mhm.
works. And if you can be that creative with that, like we should be able to do anything.
It's true. It's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? Like we should really be able to do anything.
It's
I'm
so
very,
true.
very resourceful.
Mhm.
But that 3.5 years, I should have stayed on that path. That once I went back to that, I that's when I ended up losing my family, um, my house, my cars, my job, my son. I lost everything at that point. Um,
Now I'm gonna interrupt again. I've never relapsed, thank God.
I
Um,
relapsed so many times.
and I always think about like how hard that is. For one thing, they say when you relapse, you go right back to where you were when you stopped again.
It's
It's
worse.
worse.
Well, maybe you start there,
Yeah.
but I think you end up taking yourself a little bit further
And
each
do
time.
you think that a lot of that has to do with like the guilt and the anger at yourself for like letting yourself get back to that again?
I think at this point, I think you go further because you've probably burnt a lot of bridges and
Mhm.
lost a lot of the things that you were trying not to do it
Mhm.
for. Now it's just you. You
Mhm.
can disappoint yourself and get like I'll damn, I messed up again. All right, I'll get it together after I do this. And after I do that, then you start losing more and more of what you didn't even you took for granted.
Okay.
You know, you have a car, but you're running on that temporary tire that is
Right.
only supposed to be going for 50 miles. And you had, God damn it, the thought process. I had $12,
Mhm.
$12. $10 was for the dope. $1 was for the 2-for-1 blunts that
Mm.
you get.
Mhm.
So now I have $1 left, but I'm on E. I'm on E in my car. I'm actually looking at how many miles per gallon does this car get? If I put in $1 and at this time it was like $1.86 a gallon,
Uh-huh.
then I'll at least get half a gallon. And if my car gets 32 miles to the gallon, then I'll at least get about 15, 14, 13 miles. And I need to make it from here to Fort Worth.
Mm.
I'm just giving you because I'm in
Sure.
Sacramento at
Sure.
that point, but
Sure.
it's not like around the corner.
Right.
But you're actually trying to do everything else other than be to do the responsible thing.
Mhm.
I got to get high. I
Mhm.
got to have what I need to get high. I can't just have the drugs. I need the lighter too.
Mhm.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
I need all of that stuff. The gas wasn't even important.
Right.
It was, but I'll figure it out.
Right.
If I'm gonna be stuck on the side of the road, at least I'll be high stuck on the side of the road. It was like that was the thought
That was the
process.
mentality there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it got worse every time I relapsed. Uh can I move to where I finally got my head
Yes, that's
straight?
where I really want to go now.
So one day I was sitting in front of the dope house, another dope house. Uh, but I knew that like this is not how my life is supposed to be.
Right.
Like this is not how I was raised. If I keep doing this, I'm going to end up in a bad situation.
Mhm.
worse than what I am right now. And one day I called my son's mother. I'm sitting in front of the dope house and I had rolled it up. And I was just like, dude, I got to get out of here. But what do I do? Where do I go? So I called my son's mother and I said, look, you know about me and what's going on out here. I just need a place to stay. I just need 30 to 45 days to get on my feet. Now she said no, but it was not because, hey, I don't trust you. It was because at that time she was in a relationship.
Okay.
And I said, okay, no problem. I'll figure out something else. And so, all right. And then, but she was even like, you know what? Yeah, 'cause my son was out here too. Because I'm in Sacramento. She was out here
Okay.
in Texas.
Okay.
And she was like, "Yeah, I'm in a relationship. He doesn't live with me or anything like that." This is what she was telling me. Said, "But I'm in a relationship. I'm gonna call some of the shelters. We'll get you something that will happen." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I appreciate the prayers, whatever, no problem." But I was just like, "Okay." She said, "No, I don't know what else I'm gonna do." So anyway, a week goes by, and she calls me back, and she says, "Okay, you can come out here." And I'm like, oh man, okay, cool, thank you. I appreciate it. But what changed in this last week? It's like, well, she said she was in like the Dollar General or something. Now she's short. Her dude at that time, I guess, was kind of tall. But she was in one of the aisles and she heard his voice. And so she heard his voice and was like, I know that voice. So she goes out of whatever aisle she's in and finds him, but he's in another aisle with some
Other
chick.
girl.
Right. I mean, hugged up, all that other kind of stuff. As she said, that was it at that point. Now, divine intervention, that's what I'm gonna say it was.
100%.
Because there's, like
Yeah.
what are the odds?
Right.
You know what I mean? So and our relationship that we had, it was not I wasn't trying to get with her.
Right.
We were parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't trying to intrude on whatever she had going on, but I needed some shelter. I needed somebody to just, I don't have anything to give you right now, but if you give me some time, I will get on my feet. I got to get a way out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So when she said yes, and she explained what happened to me, this was like maybe in July of 2008.
Okay.
And when she said yes, that's when I sold everything that I had. Everything that I had that was of value. I had some street debt, paid that off. Um, I had some furniture that I had gave to like family and friends to hold on to for that I bought before I went into the rehab, but they still had it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they, it was like, hey man, I'm here to collect now. I need my stuff so I could sell it, or I'll sell it to you at such and such price.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And most of them just gave me some money for it. And I was like, cool. So at the end of the day, I left September 2nd, 2008. And when I got on that train, I had $282. That's it. And 3 duffel bags, one-way train. That's it. And when I came out here, I hit the ground running. And I think that having not on, I painted my own picture instead of trying to clean off the old painting. That was the in the previous times, I'm trying to get myself together because I had this beautiful painting, which was what it was my life. Dang it. It was my life. And with the drug use, it was like splattering shit on it.
Right.
Now, every time I try to clean up myself, I could clean it off to where to the naked eye it would look clean, but you get close enough to it, it smells like doo-doo.
Okay.
Looks good,
Yeah.
but it still stinks. And so I did that multiple times. And instead of taking this picture with me to another city or whatever. Because wherever you go, there you are.
There you are. Wherever you go, there you are. It's one of my most favorite sayings.
It is. And it's because
so
it's true.
It's so true.
It's true. But if you haven't changed your mindset,
Mhm.
then you're going to take what you had here over there.
Yes.
So instead of trying to fix what I had, I came here with just a fresh white canvas.
Nice.
So I was able to put on there what I wanted to put on there
Mhm.
without splattering any doodle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love this.
And
yes.
I got addicted to progress because as soon as I got here, it was like I said, I hit the ground running. I didn't have anything, so I was humble in regards to what jobs were being offered. I took them. I didn't have anything to say, oh, I'm not going to do that job. I used to get paid such and such in California. You're going to only pay me that. So what? You don't have anything right now.
Good for you.
At some point, you're going to get to where you want to be.
Right.
My first job, I got here September 2nd. No, I left SAC September 2nd. I got here September 5th of 08. I had a job offer on by September 13th. I didn't start until September 21st, right? But in between that time and up to that point, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I would go to the Texas workforce and apply for whatever jobs they had through their governmental system and take classes or whatever. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, my son's mom would let me use her laptop. Didn't have Wi-Fi, but I said, drop me off at McDonald's or Starbucks. They had Wi-Fi. That's where I was applying for the types of jobs that in my field, customer service, banking, stuff like that, telecommunications. I'm looking for those jobs. Those types of jobs were not offered at Texas Workforce. They're just fill-in work, basically labor type stuff. So anyway, the first job that came to me offered was a job at some warehouse. It was paying $6.50 an hour. If you worked overnight, you got paid $6.92. I said, I'll take it. It was 12-hour shifts from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And it was funny because while I was there, one of the big bosses, he called me upstairs. He had somebody grab me, called me upstairs. And he was like, so, uh, when are you going to get an RJ? I said, RJ? He said, yeah, real job. So I'm looking at your resume. It's like, what are you doing? And you don't have to tell me, I'm trying to make it to the top and all this. No, I can already tell. I can already tell. You're doing what you got to do. I said, so when you do find a RJ, at least give us a heads up.
Right.
Let us know. You know what I mean? Because I can, half these people there's only 3 people here that speak English and you're one of them. This is what he said to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like, I can already tell. I wish I could offer you something a little bit better. But like he saw it.
Right.
And I worked that job for a month and a week. And then one of the other jobs that I had been applying for, it was through a temp agency, but it was Apple computers. And this is when iTunes was out.
Okay.
And you'd have to buy your music on the website.
Yep.
So I was an email representative. So if you tried to download something didn't work, your card didn't work, customer service was through email.
Okay.
And then that was me.
Okay.
I was responding with canned messages and sometimes personalized messages to try to troubleshoot what your situation was. But going from the warehouse to that job, it was immediately I doubled my income.
Okay.
After a month and 2 weeks. So now I'm like, dang, okay. Just kept going. And a lot of the bridges, like my mom, my dad, the last time I talked to them, I was doing this. Now I talked to them again, like, hey, how's things going? Oh, yeah, no, I'm not at that job anymore. I'm over here. What? Are you serious? Oh, that's great, son. So now they're sending me help. Okay. I'm not asking them for anything. I'm like, Dad, you don't got to do that. No. Let's just, I'm just going to send you something. I'm sure you could use it at some point. Prior to all this, I couldn't ask them for $1.50 to put in my tank because they knew that I was going to mess it up.
Right.
And I was putting myself in those positions. So they can't continue to enable you.
Correct.
They love you.
Right.
But they have to put the brakes on that. Otherwise, you're going to you're not going to have any incentive
To change.
to change.
No,
And they're not going to be part of that at a certain point,
right.
especially parents who love you.
Yes.
You know what
Yes.
I'm
Oh, I
saying?
do.
Um,
And it's hard for a parent. It really is. And that struggle. But I remember my friend Ross, who's lost two children to overdoses, says, enabling you could be the one to enable them to that next thing that has fentanyl in it or something,
right,
right?
right,
And you could be the one enabling them to never find that change,
right.
right? Like if your parents wouldn't, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, to you're either dead in prison or insane, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that it was great when they're like saying that to you, and the same thing, like, because you're humbled now, right? You're so humbled. And
Hmm.
then them saying, and you're like, no, I don't need that. But to have them back in your life like that had to be such a
That,
great feeling.
like I said, that I was now addicted to progress
Mhm.
and that feeling of having loved ones that were proud of you
Mhm.
for whatever it was. I mean, it could be, hey, I'm proud you did your laundry or
Right,
something
right,
simple.
right.
You know what I mean? Like you're not asking me for anything.
Mhm.
And parents who love you, I mean, they're praying for you to get
Sure,
better.
sure.
And now their prayers are being answered
Mhm.
in real time. So I, I lost my dad in 2017. That was very, very difficult. But I'm glad that I was able to be on the right side of the fence
Yes.
for a while,
Yeah,
because I started my recovery in 2008.
right.
So I'm going on what
18
is
years.
it 18 years?
Yeah, September will be 18 years.
September, it will be
Yeah.
18 years. And in the beginning, you're counting the days.
Right.
I think I lost count after maybe 7 or 8 months. Um, and also in the beginning, you want people that you cared about to see your transformation.
Right.
But I think the true transformation comes when you're not proving to anyone else. It's just you.
You.
Like
That's
you're
it.
going to see, they will start to see the fruit of your better decision making.
Yes.
I can tell when some of my family members are still doing what they shouldn't do because you can't even keep your Metro phone on.
Right.
It's
Right.
$40 a month. And you
Right.
claim you have a job. You claim you're still working at the same place. You claim everything's all good, but you're calling me at 2 or 3 in the morning on some garbage.
Right.
And now your phone is off. And now it's like, tell that to somebody who don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe Auntie will believe that
Right.
story, not
Right.
me.
Right.
You know who you're talking to?
Right.
Like, what are you
I've
doing?
said that to people before too.
Yeah.
My nieces lived with me, two of my nieces had lived with me, and they would do and I would catch them at everything, and they'd be like, "How do you catch us at everything?" I'm like, "Do you not know what I've done, who I've
Yeah.
been?" Like, no, you cannot get over on me on
No,
anything.
no,
No,
not at all.
no.
And I may not be exactly right,
Right.
but I know something's going on
Yep.
here, and I don't even want that energy.
Yeah.
Don't even bring that energy because it's very easy I can't have people who have that type of energy, the drug
Mhm.
type of, you don't know where I'm at in my
Right.
journey.
Right.
You could say or do something that could make me believe because it never goes away. And I think that's why they say once an alcoholic, once a drug addict, always,
Mhm.
my name is such and such, and I'm an alcoholic, and they've been clean for 30 years
Right.
because you're just one drink
One
away.
drink away. One
You're just
drink.
one hit
One
away.
hit away.
And when and it'll always be there to make you believe that it's kind of like a cheat day.
Yeah.
I'll just have a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, man,
22 and a half
you
years.
can't
You
do
can have a
that.
glass of wine.
It'll
People
fool
ask me
you.
that all the time. They're like, could you have a glass of wine? I'm like, I have no idea if I can. I don't think so. And I would never even
And you
tempt
never
it.
should try ever.
Ever.
Like I don't, first of all, congratulations on your sobriety.
Thank you.
That is wonderful. There are certain things that I still do, and there's things that I don't do. But I think if you know someone who has struggled in an area that maybe you're not struggling in, be respectful enough not to bring that around
Yes,
that
I
person.
agree.
Don't even just chill out.
Right.
Just chill out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not gonna, you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. I
Yeah.
don't need to take a shot before I get here or come here with some liquor in my, like, you're gonna smell it.
Right.
It could be just enough to trigger you to go
Mhm.
outside of the
Yeah.
box or feel comfortable enough to, like, the devil comes to steal, kill,
Oh.
and destroy.
Mhm.
It uses different vessels to
Mhm.
make that happen. And you don't even know that you're being used as a vessel.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah. So
Well, and congratulations to you too. 18 years is
yay.
yeah.
I
Yep.
never, you know what's a trip is that you never would have seen today 18 years and 3 days
Right.
ago.
Right.
Like I never, at that point, I was so down in the dirt that I never would have saw today.
Mhm.
How was I going to get to today
Mhm.
with the type of, like, that addiction had so much, it just locking me.
Oh yeah, and that's what, people that don't understand addiction don't understand that. And I wish that they did more and they would research it more, especially when it's with your family, because I say it takes a hold of you. Like there comes a point when it finally grabbed, because my dad died at 13 when I was 13 years old. He was 34 from alcoholism. He drowned in our bathtub. And I was never going to be that alcoholic. And as I'm standing in the mirror one day doing a shot of Listerine just to get me to my next drink, I'm like, by that time it would had physically taken me over, physically and mentally. And coming to that point where you're finally sitting in front of a crack house saying, that's it, I don't belong here. This is not what I need to do. And my moment was when I was as sick as my dad was. I weighed 85 pounds. I was pretty much ready to die. And all I could think of was my son was going to find me like we found my dad. And his dad was already incarcerated. So I quit for Chad. But I've ran into people. My one friend, she told me, she said, I saw you at the gas station right before you quit drinking. And I went home and told her, she said, I told Mike, Tammy's not going to live much longer. She is going to die. And to think now that 22 and a half years ago, if you would have seen the same thing, right? Like here I am now, and people don't realize that. And just, that it's such a great feeling to know where you were and here you are. And I love your analogy of that new canvas. I think that's so, so true because we do live in that past of what we did and the hurts that we did. And that bridges to life that I do that prison program. That's something we talk a lot about is forgiveness and not just people forgiving you and you forgiving people but forgiving yourself.
Right.
And that's one of the things that, I think, and having your family be there for you to your parents to forgive you. And like you said, for 9 years, you had that relationship with your dad then again.
I did.
Yeah.
I
And which
did.
is amazing,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
And here you are still living in Texas.
Yes, yes, I am. I am. I am glad that I was able to get over that particular hurdle. But even when you do get over that hurdle, there's other
There's
things of
hurdle.
life that are, it's a hurdle race, and you're gonna jump over that hurdle, and there's that one that you just keep tripping over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I finally made it over that one. That doesn't mean there's not going to be other hurdles, and they're not going to be evenly spaced apart.
Right.
Another one might come as soon as you get over this one.
Yep.
But you get over that one. It's a little bit easier, possibly. And then there's a while before you get to the next one.
Yep.
But as long as you're running the race of life, you're going to have those hurdles. And hopefully the things that you've made it through up to that point have made you a little bit stronger. Some things look a little bit easier to deal with. Like, okay, I need to jump this way,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to, run a little bit faster, or I need to slow down. Like certain things become a little bit more familiar,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes it a little bit easier. But you know, uh, you're gonna have those ones that's like difficulty level 17. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
damn, I've never seen this
Right.
before.
Right.
What are you gonna do? You got some options. Go around it, go through it, go under it, over it. Or you just stand there.
Right.
If standing there is not an option, you better figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you make the wise decision maybe get some wise counsel
Mhm.
for other people. Somebody's up there like, hey,
Yeah. That's
do
that's
this.
my counselor. My biggest counselor is God. We have conversations all the time. And that like and I'll get I'm big in my faith for sure. Like I know that yeah, and even the hurdles I've been through, even here in Texas, I'm like, people will call me, they're like, how did you get through that? I'm like, I have 100% complete faith. I'm going to get through it. I have to do the things to get through it. Like you said, maybe I have to go this way a little bit or go this way or jump over it or go underneath it. But whatever I got to do, God's going to get me through it. And I'm going to have to learn something from it. I know that. But I believe completely in my faith. And sometimes though, you don't hear, like, I'll be like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And you don't always hear the answer right
You
away.
don't, not right
And
away.
no, and the thing is that people they'll say that to me too. Like, I'm like, my life is not rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns all the time. Like, life can be hard, but I don't have to go back to using
Right,
through the heart. I've
right.
learned now the tools to use to not have to do that. But I do believe that the devil will sneak up on you, like you said, and remind you, be like, okay, just one little hit. What's that going to do? But you already know
I've
because
been through that pain before.
right?
I'm cool.
Yeah. And I've watched
I'm
people go through
cool.
that pain before, and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. So, anyways, well, I think this
Yep,
conversation was really good.
it
And this
is.
is your first time sharing like this.
Absolutely,
And I love
absolutely.
that you did that for me. And I
Yes.
love that you did that for all of you. Once again, thank you all for getting on Hope. We're on YouTube. I have Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Prime, everywhere. Everywhere you look for hope, you can find it. And anywhere you look for hope, you can find it, honestly. Life is, I have all this behind me for reasons. Like, it's all hope to me. I believe in my faith and I know that there's hope out there. You might be struggling, but know that you can get through your struggles. Will is a perfect example of what you can go through, but where you can become later. It's never too late. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It's never too late to find help out there. There's so many resources out there, especially nowadays, that can help you. And Boys and Girls Club, like you said, if you have people that are struggling with addiction, I mean, there's AA, Al-Anon, NA, churches, there's so much out there that you can reach out and get help with. Is there anything that you want to say at the end here?
No, be for
No.
another podcast.
Okay, we're gonna do another podcast soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
You all have a blessed day and we will see you again on Hope.